Today, I'm going to be testing some of Temu's smallest and weirdest lures that I could find. We're going to unbox everything first and then go out to several different locations to see how many species of fish we can catch and if we can possibly get onto some monsters. There's even some accidental monster catches that you're not going to want to miss. We've got all that and so much more as we put Temu lures to the test. Alright, we have a ton of stuff to go through, so I'm going to go ahead and go one by one through every single thing that I got, and then we're going to take it out to the water and test it out. Now, if you want to get any of these products, the links will all be in the description down below, or you can download Temu with this QR code up in the corner. Also, if you search this code in the description, it'll automatically give you a $100 coupon bundle, so you can get all the fishing gear you want. So first up is our rod and reel combo. We got this spinning rod and reel combo. It comes with a little holographic sticker. It's pretty decent length. I have cast this thing out a few times, and it is very good at casting. And then for the line, we actually have some 8-pound nylon line. I've never used nylon. I'm not sure if that's the same as like monofilament, but I'm excited to try that out as well. Now we have a ton of stuff to go through, so I'm gonna try and go pretty quick and explain each thing. Okay, first product is a whole bunch of these jigs. Ouch. Oh, the hooks are definitely sticky. I believe they're called Marabou jigs maybe, or something like that. I don't know. But they look pretty cool. They're shiny. They got a really long tail. The only thing I'm concerned about is if this tail is too long to catch a fish, because a lot of times with these real long tails, the fish will come up and bite the tail of it and miss the hook. So that's something I'm concerned about, but we'll have to see. Now, when it comes to jig heads, you always got to watch out because sometimes they won't have the eyes hollowed out, but these are all good. They're open. I did not see a single one that had paint covering it, so that's a really good sign so far. Now, keeping with the jigs, I bought 3 different sets of jigs to try out. First up, these are some Swimbait jigs. Again, I'm checking that all of these eyes are open and don't have paint covering them, which so far they do. It looks like all of them are nice and clear. The only thing is, I don't know what that bottom thing is for. Maybe it's like the next jigs that I'm going to show you and it can do a spinner, but it doesn't come with any spinners. Next up are some 1/8 ounce jigs, and these ones actually have a spinner built in. I really love these, especially for crappie fishing, so we're definitely going to try them out. And the hooks are definitely very sticky. I mean, I'm barely touching it with the tip of my finger. So good hooks, good color selection. It looks like all of the eyes are actually glued on, which sometimes when you get these cheaper sets, they are not. When I put together this box, I wanted to get a whole lot of microfishing stuff, so that's kind of what I focused on. We do have some full baits coming in a second, like some regular size ones, but it's going to be mostly microfishing stuff. And finally, I believe these are 1/16 ounce jigs. And it looks like there's a wide variety of colors. We got greens, we got chartreuse, we got some oranges, some yellows, some pinks, some greens, black, and then just regular silver. Oh, wow. That is a very sticky hook. And it looks like everyone that I'm seeing so far has at least most of the eye opened up. Now, I did see one right here. And it looks like there's a little bit of paint overflow, but it is still open. You can still fit a line through there. So usually with these cheap sets, you don't get open eyes and you have to sit there and poke the holes in them. But it looks like all of these have done pretty good. Now there is a bit of size difference, so maybe this one's a 16th and this one's a 32nd, but I'm not 100% sure. They'll definitely both catch fish still. Now if you're gonna have jig heads, you gotta have something to go on it, so I got a couple different styles of soft plastic as well as some spinners. First up are some little swim baits. So here they are out of the package. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh, that smells like some of the strongest shrimp I have ever smelled in my life. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they're definitely scented. They've got these little indentations that should help them kind of swim side to side a little bit more. And they've got a little duck foot at the end as a paddle tail. I imagine if these things work like the other paddle tails I've used that are the same size. Oh my gosh, look at all the oil on my fingers. Anyways, if it works the same as some of the other ones, these should absolutely tear up the fish. I also got another one in a different color. For the sake of my nostrils, I'm not going to open this one up until we're out on the water. I think the scent is definitely going to help, at least with crappie. All right, the next soft plastic that we have are some teeny tiny crawfish-ish looking things. I think they're supposed to be crawfish. See, there's little antennas and the little claws. But these should work really well with those tiny jigs. And I think that we could probably catch something. And we can also use these and those other ones along with our next product. And that's these, which is basically a whole bunch of spinners for like a beetle spin setup. And I can use them alongside my jigs. Now it came with a whole lot. There's gold and silver. I kind of like gold whenever I'm fishing for something like a gar or a grinnell, and I use silver for fishing for other things. I don't know what it is about gold, but gar tend to really like gold, sometimes more than silver. I'm not sure what it is about it, but that's just been my experience. But I'm gonna show you kind of what we could do with the jigs and with these to kind of combine them. All right, just with the lures we've already opened, we can do several different things. So you can do your classic soft plastic. You can even do one of those other jigs, or my personal favorite, put one of these jigs on the spinner blade and put a spinner blade on top of that. So all these different things, we're gonna try them out and then try them also by themselves and see which one works best. But I love adding a beetle spin. It adds a ton of action and it doesn't take away from the action of your lure itself. In my opinion, if you can get some of these, that's the absolute best. These are my go-to skunk busters. And that package came with a lot. I'm wanting to say it was like 20, so that's a very good amount of those spinners. It's funny, the packaging actually says the secret weapon, and these absolutely are my secret weapon. All right, now so far you might be saying, oh, this is a whole bunch of normal stuff. Don't worry, we're about to get into some of the weirdest stuff that I've never found anywhere except for Temu. And that's gonna be starting with these. Now these came in a 5-pack, but I kind of just put one on the rod already to test out my casting ability, and they are very strange to say the least. They're basically all the same style. It's got this like splotch with a different color on the back of it, and it's just a weird, almost looks like a comma from the side. The next product I got were some smaller spinners. So it came in a pack of 6, and there's lots of cool colors. The only complaint I have is that one of them came missing an eye. Like the eye kind of fell off and it won't stick back on. But that's easily fixed with a little bit of glue. And if these things have good action, they are tiny compared to a regular spinnerbait. But at the same time, they have a lot of weight to them. Like this is a solid chunk of lead down there at the bottom. So I should be able to cast this thing super far. It should sink pretty good. And if you can't tell, ouch, ouch. The hooks are definitely sticky. Now, if these things work and they spin properly and they cast well, I think these are going to be one of my favorite lures we tried today. But it could be dethroned by the next one because the next one is super weird. And that's these lures right here. These lures kind of remind me of like a tadpole or something. I thought they'd be a tiny bit smaller, but that's okay. The only issues I had so far is this one actually has an extra eye. I thought it was going to be missing one when I opened the packaging, but it just has an extra one that's kind of stuck on there. Oh, there it goes. But these guys should, in theory, kind of swim around with their tails in the water. And I thought it looks like it's a fabric and it feels almost like a fabric on the actual plastic. But this one right here is pure plastic and you can see that shine in it. So I guess it's just whatever finish they use that makes it kind of look like a fabric. But it is definitely plastic. I'm just very intrigued to see if this thing's actually going to work and what the action's going to look like. Now, it's not a secret that Temu sent all these lures to me for free so that I could test them out, but I want to let you guys know that they told me to give my honest feedback, so I'm not going to hold back. And with this next one, I got to be a little bit critical. All right, so this little thing came in a pack of 8, and if you guys have seen my first ever microfishing video, we used something that is very similar to this from Walmart, but here's the problem. This is a lure that I just now put together, but this is how all of the rest of them came in. None of them had hooks, none of them had split rings. I had to find my own hook to put on those. And in the product description, it showed that they had hooks, it showed they had split rings, but none of these did when they came in. That is a big, big problem in my opinion. Now, do they work? I don't know yet, we'll have to test that out later. If they do have good action, then I think it would be worth it to get these because these little things are awesome if they work similar to the ones I used from Walmart. But if not, I do not like that they sent these without the split rings and without the hooks. But they do have a little bit more weight than the Walmart ones, so I'm hoping that that helps my casting distance and the action of the lures. We'll have to see that later on. All right, for the next lures, I actually got a small and a large version because I wasn't sure how these things worked. Okay, first impressions, they kind of look like a bullfrog tadpole a little bit. And they seem to have a really cool shape. I've never seen lures like this anywhere except for on Temu. Some of them, obviously, as you can see, have the eyes off-center or sticking off. But for the most part, it seems like there was only 1 or 2 that had that issue. For the most part, they're all good. Here's the thing. The way you rig these things up is really weird. You actually put your line through the nose right there and then put a hook on the back. And let me kind of show you on the bigger version. So these are the larger ones, more for like bass or something else, but I got them because I thought that maybe it would help me to figure out how these things are done. Basically, you have to pull out the little hook and it's gonna have these 2 metal prongs on it. You slide your line through the nose out of this bottom part right here, this little plastic thing, and then tie it off to your hook. Once you got that done, you can kind of push these metal rods into the lure to hold it in place, and you're done. So I don't know how the action of this thing's gonna work. I don't know if this plastic's gonna sink. I don't know, it seems pretty stiff, so I don't know if the action on the tail is gonna be good enough. But if it has good action, I think these will imitate a bullfrog tadpole really well, and we could probably catch some pretty good fish on it. So I'm not gonna say it's bad yet. I know the smaller ones are probably gonna require a little bit more weight to them. These seem pretty hefty and dense, but we'll have to test that out on the water. The smaller ones were definitely better for the micro fishing, but this one I still think is probably going to be a little bit more successful. Now we've got some really funny frogs here, but we're going to save that for just a second. First, I want to show you some of the stuff we got for the fly rod. Now, if you've seen my fly fishing video, you know that I'm very, very new to fly fishing. So I just got some regular green and black flies that should do pretty well, but we also got something very special, which is this tiny little container. These are literal flies. So we got flies for the fly rod, and they come with a little spinner. So I'm interested to see how well that works, or if it even does work. I think that fly fishing with a literal fly plastic is going to be pretty cool. And it's just the right size to attract the attention of maybe a bass, maybe a grinnell. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool to catch a grinnell on a fly rod. We'll have to see what happens later on in the video. We're going to be testing out all of this. Let's get back to that really funny frog. Now, these are the topwater frogs. And even though they may look like just some regular goofy little frogs, it's not the frog itself that was so funny to me, it's the packaging. So of course you got your generic quality fishing, professional lure, soft baits, but then I started to read the back. It says, quality fishing. The baits are modeled of reality insects with high quality materials and craftsmanship. Let fishers can more easier to use baits do wiggle or twitch skills outstanding. Effective objects, predatory fish. Well, let's just hope that the action that these frogs have is a little bit better than the English skills, but we're gonna go ahead, head out on the water. We have a ton of lures, a ton of stuff to try out, so I'll see y'all at the first location. Man, it has been a while since I've been out here, and it's been a lot of changes. Last time I was out here, there was so much of that American lotus, that kind of stuff sitting right there, and it was covering everything, but it looks like the water's a little bit shallow, not super shallow. And man, it's just a grass is taking over everything. You wouldn't even realize that all that back there is supposed to be water, and it's just covered in grass. But it looks like the current's still moving. We do have a lot of bait fish swimming around on the surface. So I think as long as we don't get tangled up in these lily pads, we should be pretty good. All right, so we're gonna start off with this little comma looking thing. I have a green one. This one was already tied up whenever I started to show off the other ones. And man, so it slowly sinks, but the action it has when you retrieve it is super good. Very good side-to-side vibration. And hopefully, I'll get over there and be able to retrieve it back without getting caught up on all these plants. The current seems to be moving pretty quick. Yeah, it's kind of keeping my lure up towards the surface. But hopefully we'll catch something. Now this rod actually casts light lures very far. This lure is super, super... Oh, we got a fish! Oh, we had one. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, we've already got our first bite. That's definitely good news so far. That back J hook instead of a treble hook, I think that's going to cause us a little bit of an issue, but we're going to have to see what happens. I mean, obviously we already got a bite, but we did not actually hook the fish, which it could have been a gar, it could have been something else. I'm not saying for sure that that hook's a bad thing. It has been about 10 minutes, and I've not gotten anything except for that one bite, and nothing's come back after that. So I might switch over to one of the little spinners. Oh, hold up. Oh, dag nabbit. We had a fish bite. Every time I talk about switching lures, that happens. Let me try again. It seems like this one's getting a lot of action, but the hookup ratio is terrible. That little regular J hook in the back instead of a treble hook, not a fan of that at all. All right, next up, we're gonna do these little micro spinners. I'm definitely gonna have to reel this thing fast because it wants to sink, but it does spin. That treble hook might become a problem, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and cast this thing out. It's definitely a lot heavier. I'm gonna have to stop this thing to make sure it doesn't like go way too far. But man, it cuts through that current really well. That's another good thing. So when you're fishing water like this, no, I might honestly lose it already. I lost it. Stupid thing. I didn't realize the stem curved down, so. All right, we're gonna go with something much lighter. This is the little green crawfish on a green jig head on that little beetle spin spinner. And this should, in theory, oh yeah, that's beautiful. The little antenna work really well. Now this would probably work really well. Ooh, there's a red spot hitting it. This would probably work really well just on a jig head to kind of work on the bottom like a crawfish. But I'm wondering what it's gonna look like, or if it's gonna work well using a little beetle spin spinner. Almost anything that I have tried works 10 times better when you put that little spinner on it. I don't know what it is. I guess it's the shine. Yep, there we go. There we go. First cast. Literally first cast. Ooh, good size bluegill. Look at that. All right, first cast. That's all it took. I told you guys, I don't know what it is about these spinners, but they just make it. I guess it's the shine, obviously. There we go. Beautiful little bluegill. We're gonna switch baits now. That one is definitely proven. We're gonna switch just this little jig head off and see about one of the other plastics. All right, green crawfish is approved. Now we're gonna try out one of these little swim baits. First off, I wanna test out and see how well that tail moves. Oh yeah, that tail moves really well. I guess if you reel it in faster, oh my gosh. This is probably gonna be another first caster. Plus with the absolute stench that comes from that like shrimp scent, I imagine that's gonna help. We might even catch a crappie here. So we didn't catch it on the first cast, but definitely has a lot of potential in my opinion. Honestly, I think this looks better than the crawfish did. Oh, I didn't even see that little tiny alligator moving around. He's just cruising. Oh, no, keep moving. Keep moving, don't you stop. I'm trying to catch fish, go away. Go away, keep floating. Man, I'm surprised this hasn't been hit yet. So we didn't get anything with the white one and the spinnerbait, but let's try the green one just by itself with the little jig. Oh my gosh, okay. If you reel it in quick, it's definitely got a really good flutter to it. It's kind of hard to see it on camera, but it's definitely got a lot of shine to it. Only problem is it does sink very quickly, and with all these stems and stuff, I'm gonna have to reel it pretty quick. Ooh. But maybe we can catch us a bass or something else, because this thing's gonna have to be moving quick. Whatever attacks it's gonna have to be quick. Oh, what is this? Ah, I seem to have caught my line from earlier. I am gonna just get in this water. Ooh, it is cold. Got the little baby alligator over there, but I'm not worried about him trying to attack me. As long as the old big mamas leave me alone. Ooh. No way. I had to get in the gator water, but we got our spinner back because while I was reeling it in, I ended up hooking my old line. Now I think I might have tied up and messed up the soft plastic, but I have a lot more soft plastics than I have of these. So that was awesome. All right, we're gonna try that again. This time, we don't have to worry about getting hung up right there on that fishing line anymore. We got our fishing lure back. Now I do think that we could possibly catch a crappie, a bluegill, bass, maybe even a red spotted sunfish with this lure. But if it's gonna be a red spotted sunfish, it's gonna have to grab just right. Oh, no way. As I was saying that, as I was saying it, a stunning red spotted sunfish. Golly, it's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but it's got some real dark red spots. But like I was trying to say, usually they'll just grab the tail end and they'll rip it off and they won't actually be able to grab the whole lure. But it looks like this one went just far enough back to get hooked. So there we go. These are tried and true, definitely work. I actually saw a second one come up right next to it that looked a little bit bigger. So before we switch lures, while we still got this one in the area, I'm gonna see if I can maybe track that other one and catch it too. Yeah, doesn't look like he's here anymore. Well, let's switch lures. This little alligator right here is really starting to try my patience. He keeps coming up close whenever I cast, and then he kind of drifts back off whenever I go to change lures, and he comes right back. This little alligator, I was trying to jig right here, and that stupid little alligator keeps coming up. Go away. Go away. Sometimes alligators are awesome, and sometimes they're quite annoying. And this little guy right here is definitely the annoying variety. One of my biggest pet peeves is people who just cut their lines and leave it. all on the bank. Like, I'm not talking about if they leave it in the water, because sometimes, you know, your line snaps off in the water, you can't help it. But my goodness, like this stuff, this is ridiculous. And it keeps tripping me up as I'm trying to walk around. I have to get all this junk out now. A little bit of trash cleaned up. I think we're gonna go ahead and switch lures now to that little tiny one that looks like the one we got from Walmart in my first microfishing video. We'll see if we can catch a red spot with that. This spot looks like it's got a little bit less vegetation, and I've always done pretty good over here too, especially with the goggle eyes, otherwise known as red eye sunfish. They have a few different names. I got flies attacking me too. I just saw something right there. So the lure we're using this time is the same kind that we got like from Walmart, except this is the one that we got from Temu. And slowly sinks. Ooh, is that action? Okay, there it goes. Action's pretty good. These ones didn't come with the hooks, so I had to get my own hooks for it. So hopefully they're the right size. That's the problem with getting lures that come without hooks. You don't know what size to get for the action to be proper. So hopefully this is the right size and weight distribution for the hooks. Oh my gosh, I got a fly landing on my neck and my nose constantly. Oh, we had a bite, and I was worried about the stupid fly biting me. Oh, something came up to attack while I was messing with it. There we go, there we go, there we go. Oh, whatever it is, it's pretty decent, at least for this rod. Okay, it's just a bass. Woo, there we go. My drag must have been set super low. Oh man, but there we go. It does indeed catch fish. And even though you got to replace the hooks, I mean, if you got some old lures or micro lures that you don't use anymore, you can pull the hooks off of those. But there we go. Beautiful little dink bass. And we've only been fishing for about 2 minutes here. So this lure is tried and true. We're going to release this guy and switch lures. Woo, there he goes. Okay, next up is this little tadpole looking thing. I guess that's what it's trying to imitate. I am super excited to see what the action of this thing looks like. All right, we're gonna try the same little spot. I just kind of want to see, first of all, does it sink or float? Okay, it sinks for sure. Oh man. Okay, hold on. So I'm gonna have to reel it pretty quick because it does want to sink, but that tail moves really well side to side and the head kind of shimmies. Oh my gosh. Seeing that tail from a distance is insane. Yeah, I was about to say it should work just like a crankbait, but no, that should work even better than a crankbait. Strictly going off action. This is by far my favorite lure so far. The fish stopped biting at this spot, so I went home and came back to a different area the next day. All right, we're out in a new location on a beautiful morning, and these little backwater sloughs and stuff are usually absolutely packed with fish. So we're gonna go ahead and switch over to one of our lures and see if we can catch a fish. Right off the bat, I saw something massive swimming in the water right next to the bank, so I slowly crept up to it to see if I could catch it. As I got closer, I realized this is a massive bowfin, and I was going to try my best to catch it. Oh my gosh, he's just not gonna bite. If you've seen some of my previous microfishing videos, these things are normally the most aggressive fish in the water, and they put up a crazy fight. But for whatever reason, this one was completely uninterested. I think this fish is sick. This fish has to be sick. There's no way. There's no way. Bowfin are way too aggressive to not bite something. Oh gosh. Directly in their face like that. Oh my gosh, its belly is like bloated. What in the world? Okay, this may be a very, very pregnant female. You just don't get bowfin that big that aren't willing to bite something directly in front of their face. Bowfin are usually hyper aggressive. So there's gotta be something wrong with that fish. After fishing for a little while without any bites, I switched over to the little tiny flies to see if I could catch a fish while fly fishing. There we go. Oh, we got something. Oh, that was a gar. That was definitely a gar. Dang. I didn't set the hook quite as hard because I didn't expect it to be something decent. We definitely got a bite though. That's pretty crazy for this tiny lure to catch the attention of a bigger fish. Because that was definitely not no bluegill. There we go. There we go. Oh, what is that? Oh, goggle eye? Yeah, goggle eye. There we go. About time we caught a fish. It's been like over an hour. Look at that pretty goggle eye. You fought pretty hard. First fly, tried and true. It's very slick down there, so I'm gonna kind of drop him over there. Sorry, Mr. Gator, you do not get a meal today. All right, time for our spinner fly. This one's got a much bigger profile. There we go. Sorry, fella. Launched him into the stratosphere on that one. Beautiful little red spotted, no, long-eared sunfish? Yeah, long-eared sunfish. Pretty guy. Oh, sorry, fella. I'm like sliding all over the place. If you can't tell, it's super slick right here. My goodness, I keep tripping and falling. I think that was a gar. Something hit, but it didn't really fight too hard. It just came off, but it was like, definitely fought a little bit. There we go. There we go. Little bass. Tiny one. There we go, finally. It's been like an hour since the last fish that I caught. Maybe a little longer. On the little teeny tiny spinnerbait. All right, beautiful little tiny bass. On our little micro spinnerbait here. I'll toss him back. We're gonna try out the shiny jig head. See if maybe we can get on a crappie or something. Oh, we got something. There we go. Beautiful. Good size fella too. Ooh, let's try not to get hooked here. All right. Beautiful little goggle eye here. Red eye sunfish. Okay. That's like over half of the lures so far. I've caught things. Let me switch to something else. All right, we're gonna go with the frog-colored tadpole here and see if we can catch us a big fish. Oh, that casts far. No way. We're stuck. Dadgummit. First cast and we're stuck. Okay, we're gonna do one last lure. So this is kind of the combo of two of them that we haven't really done yet, and that is the underspin and the little tadpole lure. Now this lure did great at attracting attention. However, it was not the attention that I wanted, because as I was fishing, I got a phone call, and after I finally hung up that phone call, something crazy was on my line. Oh no. Okay, issue, big issue. Oh, crap. Okay. Oh, he spat it out. It's just kind of hooked on his leg. Great. So I appear to have hooked the alligator in the leg. No. Dadgummit. My wife was calling me. And so I was looking down at my phone. I was about to answer it. And then this sucker lunged, bit the lure, and, oh gosh, spat it out. And now it's hooked in his leg. Now to get it out, I'm gonna have to reel up to it if he'll stop swimming away. Dadgummit. Stupid gator. Get over here. This is right here is why I say it's so annoying fishing around gators. It's not because they'll try and attack you. It's because I really don't want to lose another lure. And it's not too hard to get him up on the surface, but okay, look, dude, I am trying to get you unhooked. I don't want you to live with this thing. If I could just reel up to it and pop it forward, I can get him unhooked. It's just, he's got to be still. No! Congratulations, buddy. Now you got a hook in your leg. I hope it was worth it. Yep, you can kind of barely see the green on his leg. Kind of glad it didn't get stuck in his mouth, because originally he grabbed it in his mouth and then he spat it out. That's why I didn't try to set the hook on him. Always something with these deadgum alligators. See the little green on him. Aggravating. I was packing up to leave, but I wanted to make one last cast off the bridge, and I'm glad I did. Oh, we got something. We got one. Oh, it spat my lure out. Okay, so it broke my line somehow, and then spat my lure out, but I see my lure down there. Okay, I'm counting that as a catch. I mean, I know I didn't secure it, but I'm counting that, and I need to go get that lure now. Okay, we got our lure back. It just kind of got spat out and sat right there, which is awesome. I'm glad the fish didn't get the lure stuck in his mouth. But I don't know why. Look, if you see, the line is still tied on there. My best guess is that the alligator weakened the line, so it snapped. It didn't get untied or anything like that, so I don't think it's the string's fault. I think it was just that alligator. When I got back home, I decided to do some fishing in the backyard pond to test out the frog and see if it would work. That is gorgeous. I mean, I know it's invasive, but still, it's beautiful. All right, let's see if this thing even floats. It does. Okay. So the lure does float. That's something I was kind of not sure about. I am using a very small hook, but the lure is definitely floaty enough to stay upright. That's good. Cast's good, obviously. There we go. Oh, I wasn't ready to set the hook. It hit it immediately. Hoping something's gonna come out of that grass and smoke it. Nope. Oh, yep. Oh, good fish. Good fish. Good fish. Oh my gosh. This is the biggest fish in the pond. Biggest fish in the pond. Oh, please, please. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Dude. Stud. Oh, stud. Oh my gosh. First off, A+. Dude. I didn't even know I had a fish this big in the pond. Holy cow. Dude, are you seeing this thing? Oh my gosh, it's huge. Okay. Oh, I am so glad I came out here. Oh, that guy's a tank. That was every bit of 3 pounds. Minimum. That was a beautiful fish. Oh my gosh. And we still have our soft plastic in good condition. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. The biggest bass I think I've ever caught in my pond was maybe this long. That is definitely by far the biggest fish I have ever pulled out of here, except maybe that catfish that I pulled out of here in that one pool pond video. But oh my gosh, that was a huge bass. This is not an old pond. It's maybe 2 or 3 years old. So to have a fish that size is an absolute tank. I fished for a good while longer but didn't catch anything. If you guys would like to see me make a part 2 where we do some more Temu lures, let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you saw a lure that you'd like yourself, I have the prices and the links all in the description down below, so make sure to check that out. Comment your favorite lure down below, and while you're down there, consider hitting the like button and subscribing if you haven't already. It really helps out a lot. Today's scripture comes from Matthew 5, verses 43 to 44, and it says, "You have heard it said that you must love your neighbor and hate your enemy, but I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who harass you." I'll catch you guys in the next video, and as always, Jesus loves you, I love you, and have a great day.